Imagine standing alone in the middle of the African savanna as the sun slowly disappears beyond the horizon. The wind moves through the grass, the sky turns orange, and somewhere in the distance you hear a deep roar. You cannot see where it came from, but you know one thing: you are not alone. All around our planet, millions of incredible animals are living their lives right now. Some are powerful enough to take down prey several times their own size. Some can run faster than a car driving through a city. Some can survive in freezing temperatures where a human could barely last a few minutes. And others possess intelligence, communication skills, and social behaviors that scientists are still trying to understand. These are not creatures from ancient history. They are not extinct dinosaurs. They are alive right now, sharing the same planet we do. Deep inside the African wilderness, lions move together as a family, protecting their territory and hunting as a team. In the forests of Asia, a tiger can disappear into the shadows so perfectly that its prey may never know it is being watched. In the vast oceans, dolphins communicate with one another using complex sounds and signals. Elephants travel across enormous distances, remember places they visited years ago, and maintain surprisingly deep relationships with members of their herd. And then there are animals that look harmless until you discover what they are actually capable of. A tiny creature may carry a deadly defense. A seemingly slow animal may possess incredible strength. And an animal that looks peaceful could become one of the most dangerous predators on Earth when threatened. But here's the question: which animals truly deserve to be called the greatest survivors on our planet? Which one is the strongest? Which one is the smartest? Which one is the fastest? Which one is the most dangerous? And which animal has a secret ability that sounds almost impossible to believe? Today, we're going on a journey across continents, deserts, forests, mountains, rivers, and oceans to meet some of the most famous and fascinating animals alive today. From the king of the savanna to the largest land animal on Earth, from one of the world's most powerful predators to one of the smartest creatures in the ocean. These animals have survived for generations because they possess something extraordinary: strength, intelligence, speed, teamwork, camouflage, or simply the incredible ability to adapt. Some of their stories are beautiful, some are terrifying, and some are almost unbelievable. So stay with us until the end, because the animal waiting at the top of our list might not be the one you expect. This is the world of the animals that are alive today, and their stories are far more incredible than you might imagine. Let's begin. The sun is rising over the vast African savanna. Golden light spreads across the grasslands while the cool morning air slowly begins to disappear. In the distance, a herd of animals moves carefully through the open plains. And then, a deep roar breaks the silence. For a moment, everything seems to stop. This is the sound of one of the most famous animals on Earth, the lion. Known around the world as the king of the beasts, the lion has fascinated humans for thousands of years. It has appeared in ancient stories, paintings, movies, books, and legends. But behind this famous image is a real animal with an incredible life and a fascinating way of surviving. Unlike most big cats, lions are highly social animals. They don't usually live alone. Instead, they live in groups called prides. A pride can contain several related females, their young, and one or more adult males. Life inside a pride is based on cooperation, protection, competition, and survival. The females often play a major role in hunting. Working together, they can surround and chase their prey using teamwork rather than relying only on individual strength. Their targets can include zebras, wildebeest, antelope, and other large animals. But hunting is not always successful. A lion may spend hours following its prey, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. And when the chase finally begins, everything can change within seconds. The lion explodes into action. Its powerful muscles push its enormous body forward. Its sharp claws help it grip the ground, while its strong jaws can deliver a devastating bite. But there is another side to the lion that makes it so fascinating. The famous mane of an adult male lion is not simply there to make him look impressive. A large, dark mane can make a male appear bigger and more intimidating to rivals. It can also play a role in attracting females. And when two males compete for control of a pride, the confrontation can become extremely dangerous. These battles are not just about territory. They can determine who controls the pride, who gets access to food, and who will father the next generation. But perhaps the most important part of a lion's life is its family. Lion cubs are born small, vulnerable, and completely dependent on their mothers. During their first months of life, they must learn how to walk, hide, play, and eventually hunt. Their childhood may look peaceful, but the wild is unforgiving. Only some cubs will survive to adulthood. They must avoid predators, survive periods of hunger, and learn the dangers of their environment. And as they grow older, they slowly become part of the complex social world of the pride. This is what makes the lion so extraordinary. It isn't simply a powerful predator. It is a symbol of strength, teamwork, family, territory, and survival. But despite its reputation as the king of the jungle, there is something important to remember. Lions don't actually live in jungles. Most wild lions live in grasslands, savannas, and open woodland environments, especially across Africa. A small population of Asiatic lions also survives in India's Gir landscape. And today, these magnificent animals face serious challenges: loss of habitat, conflicts with humans, declining prey populations, and other pressures have made conservation increasingly important. So the next time you see a lion standing proudly on the savanna, remember that you are looking at more than just a famous predator. You are looking at an animal that has survived through generations, adapted to one of the world's harshest environments, and become one of the most recognizable symbols of the natural world. The roar may sound like a declaration of power, but behind that roar is a constant struggle to survive. And in the wild, being the king doesn't mean life is easy. It means every single day you have to fight to keep your crown. Imagine stepping onto a frozen world where the horizon seems to stretch forever. There are no forests, no tall mountains covered in green, no warm sunlight, only endless white ice, freezing winds, and temperatures that can become deadly within minutes. And somewhere across this frozen landscape, a massive white figure slowly moves across the ice. It is powerful, it is patient, and it is perfectly adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. The polar bear, known as one of the most iconic animals of the Arctic, the polar bear is the largest land carnivore on the planet. An adult male can weigh hundreds of kilograms, with some exceptionally large individuals reaching enormous sizes. But despite its incredible weight, the polar bear is a surprisingly capable swimmer. It can travel through freezing Arctic waters for long distances, using its large front paws like powerful paddles. Its thick layer of body fat helps keep it warm, while its dense fur provides additional insulation against the extreme cold. And here is something that may surprise you. A polar bear's fur isn't actually white. The individual hairs are mostly transparent and can scatter light, making the animal appear white under Arctic conditions. Underneath that thick fur is dark skin, which helps absorb and retain heat from sunlight. Every part of the polar bear's body is designed for survival. Its enormous paws help distribute its weight across thin ice and provide traction on slippery surfaces. Its powerful claws help it move across the ice and catch prey. But the polar bear's greatest weapon may be something much simpler: patience. Polar bears are excellent hunters. and one of their most important prey animals is the ringed seal. Instead of constantly chasing seals across the ice, a polar bear may wait near a breathing hole. It can remain still for an incredibly long time. The bear waits and waits until the seal finally appears. Then, in a fraction of a second, the predator attacks. But surviving in the Arctic is not only about hunting, it is also about conserving energy. Food can be difficult to find, and the landscape is constantly changing. A successful hunt can provide a huge amount of energy, but a failed hunt can mean days or even longer without a major meal. Female polar bears face an especially demanding challenge when they give birth. A mother may create a maternity den in the snow where she gives birth to tiny cubs. When they are born, the cubs are incredibly small compared with their mother. They are blind, vulnerable, and completely dependent on her. The mother protects them, keeps them warm, and feeds them until they are strong enough to leave the den. They must learn where to find food, how to move safely across the ice, and how to survive in an environment where even a small mistake can have serious consequences. As global temperatures rise, Arctic sea ice is changing and, in many areas, declining. Because polar bears rely heavily on sea ice for hunting seals and traveling between feeding areas, changes in the ice can make survival more difficult. The origin of lions. Long before humans built cities, long before the first pyramids rose from the sands of Egypt, long before written history even existed, the ancestors of modern lions were already roaming the earth. To understand where lions came from, we need to travel back millions of years into a world that looked very different from today. The lion belongs to the cat family, known scientifically as Felidae. This family first appeared roughly 25 million years ago. At that time, the world was home to many different predators competing for survival. The earliest cats were much smaller than modern lions. They looked more like agile hunters living in forests than the giant predators we know today. Over millions of years, these early cats evolved into different branches. Some became small cats, others became medium-sized hunters, and one branch eventually gave rise to the largest cats on Earth. This group is known as the Panthera lineage. The Panthera genus includes lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, and the snow leopards. Scientists believe that the ancestors of Panthera appeared around 6 million years ago. These animals possessed a special adaptation that would change their future forever. They could roar. Unlike most cats, members of the Panthera family evolved a unique structure in their throat and voice box that allowed them to produce deep, powerful vocalizations. This ability would later become one of the defining characteristics of lions. But the lion itself had not yet appeared. Its story was only beginning. Around 2 million years ago, the first true lions emerged. These early lions were not restricted to Africa. In fact, lions would eventually become one of the most widespread large mammals on Earth. During the Ice Age, lions expanded across enormous territories. Their range stretched from Africa into Europe, across the Middle East, through Asia, and even into North America. Many people are surprised to learn that lions once lived in places where they no longer exist today. They hunted in regions that are now covered by modern cities. They walked across landscapes that humans would later transform forever. At one point, lions occupied more territory than any other wild cat species in history. Some ancient lions were even larger than modern African lions. One of the most famous was the cave lion. Known scientifically as Panthera spelaea, the cave lion lived throughout Europe and parts of Asia during the Ice Age. These massive predators could grow significantly larger than many lions alive today. They hunted giant prey, including wild horses, bison, deer, and sometimes even young mammoths. Evidence of these lions survives in prehistoric cave paintings created by early humans tens of thousands of years ago. These paintings reveal something fascinating. Humans were already observing lions carefully, already respecting them, already fearing them. Even at the dawn of human civilization, lions had become symbols of power. As the Ice Age ended, the world began to change. Temperatures rose, habitats shifted. Many large animals disappeared. Some lion populations adapted, others vanished forever. Over thousands of years, the surviving lions became concentrated primarily in Africa and parts of Asia. The lion we know today is scientifically called Panthera leo. It evolved into a highly specialized predator capable of thriving in open grasslands and savannas. Unlike most big cats, lions developed a remarkable social system. Instead of living alone like tigers and leopards, lions formed groups known as prides. This adaptation changed everything. A pride could defend territory more effectively, protect cubs, hunt larger prey, and survive challenges that would be difficult for solitary predators. This social behavior helped lions dominate many African ecosystems. Yet, despite their success, lions faced a new challenge: humans. As human populations expanded, lion habitats began to shrink. Forests were cleared, grasslands were converted into farmland. Wild prey became scarcer. Conflicts between humans and lions increased. Over time, lions disappeared from vast regions where they had lived for thousands of years. Ancient Greece once had lions. So did much of the Middle East. Lions roamed across India, Turkey, and large parts of Europe. Today, those populations are gone. Only a small population of Asiatic lions remains in India. Most wild lions now survive in Africa. Their kingdom is far smaller than it once was. Yet despite these losses, the lion remains one of the most recognizable animals on Earth. Its image appears on flags, monuments, coats of arms, sports teams, and national symbols. For thousands of years, humans have associated lions with courage, strength, leadership, and royalty. Perhaps that is because lions have survived countless changes throughout Earth's history. They witnessed ice ages. They watched giant mammals rise. The social life of lions. Among all the big cats on Earth, lions are unique. Tigers live alone. Leopards live alone. Jaguars live alone. Snow leopards live alone. But lions are different. They are the only truly social big cats in the world. While most predators rely on solitude for survival, lions rely on family. A group of lions is known as a pride, and this pride is far more than just a collection of animals. It is a complex society built on cooperation, loyalty, competition, and survival. A typical pride can contain anywhere from a few individuals to more than 30 lions. At its heart are usually several related females. These females are often sisters, cousins, mothers, and daughters. Many spend their entire lives together. Unlike males, female lions rarely leave their family group. They form the foundation of the pride. Generation after generation, they remain connected. Together they raise cubs. Together they defend territory. Together they hunt. And together they survive. This cooperation gives lions a major advantage over many other predators. A single lion can bring down medium-sized prey, but an organized pride can hunt animals many times larger than themselves. Buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, sometimes even young elephants. Every hunt requires communication and teamwork. Different females often take different positions during an attack. Some act as ambushers. Others drive prey toward hidden hunters. The result is a level of coordination rarely seen among large predators. Yet life inside a pride is not always peaceful. Competition exists everywhere. Food must be shared, territory must be defended, and leadership is constantly challenged. Male lions play a very different role within the pride. Most prides are controlled by one or more adult males. These males are responsible for protecting the group from rival lions. Their lives are often brutal. Before becoming leaders, young males are usually forced to leave their birth pride. This often happens when they are around 2 or 3 years old. Suddenly, they lose the protection of their family. Many spend years wandering, hunting alone, avoiding stronger males, searching for an opportunity. For many, that opportunity never comes. Some die from starvation. Others are killed by rivals. Only a small percentage succeed in taking control of a pride. When they finally do, their reign is often short. A dominant male may rule for only 2 to 4 years before younger challengers arrive. Every day is a battle to keep power. Every roar is a warning. Every patrol along the territory's border is a reminder that danger is never far away. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of lion society is what happens when a new male takes over. When rival males defeat the previous leaders, they often kill the existing cubs. This behavior may seem cruel, but in evolutionary terms, it increases the chances that the females will produce offspring carrying the new male's genes. It is one of the harshest realities of life in the wild. For lion cubs, survival is never guaranteed. In fact, many cubs never reach adulthood. Disease, starvation, hyenas, leopards, rival lions. The dangers are endless. This is why lionesses are extremely protective mothers. They often cooperate when raising cubs. A female may even nurse another lioness's young. In many prides, cubs grow up together almost like brothers and sisters. They play together, learn together, and slowly develop the skills they will need to survive. Play is more important than it appears. Every chase, every jump, every mock fight is preparation for adulthood. It teaches hunting, balance, strength, and social interaction. As cubs grow older, the differences between males and females become more apparent. Young females usually remain within the pride. Young males eventually leave. Their future lies elsewhere. This separation creates an endless cycle. Females preserve the pride. Males compete to control it. Generation after generation, year after year. Another remarkable aspect of lion society is communication. Lions communicate through body language, scent marking, facial expressions, and vocalizations. Their roar is legendary. A lion's roar can travel up to 8 kilometers or 5 miles under the right conditions. It serves many purposes: warning rivals, locating pride members, defending territory, demonstrating strength. Sometimes a roar alone can prevent a fight from ever happening, because in the wild, avoiding unnecessary injuries is often more important than winning a battle. The social structure of lions is one of the reasons they have become so successful. Working together allows them to accomplish things that would be impossible alone. But their society also comes with challenges: competition, conflict, responsibility, and constant threats from both inside and outside the pride. Long before humans built cities, before wolves hunted in organized packs, and before many of today's familiar mammals even existed, the ancestors of modern bears were already beginning one of the most remarkable evolutionary journeys in the history of life. Their story does not begin in icy mountains or dense forests. It begins nearly 40 million years ago during the late Eocene epoch, when Earth looked nothing like the world we know today. The climate was much warmer. Vast tropical forests stretched across continents, sea levels were higher, and many of the dominant animals roaming the planet have long since disappeared. The earliest ancestors of bears were surprisingly small. They were nothing like the enormous creatures we imagine today. Instead, they resembled agile, tree-climbing carnivorous mammals that hunted insects, small reptiles, birds, eggs, and tiny mammals. Survival depended not on overwhelming strength, but on speed, intelligence, and adaptability. Over millions of years, Earth's climate began changing dramatically. Forests gradually gave way to open woodlands and grasslands. Competition among predators became increasingly fierce. Some species disappeared forever, while others slowly evolved into new forms better suited to their changing environment. One branch of these ancient carnivores gradually developed stronger jaws, more powerful limbs, larger bodies, and broader paws. These evolutionary changes allowed them to exploit food sources unavailable to many other predators. Scientists believe one of the earliest true bear ancestors was Ursavus, often referred to as the dawn bear. Living roughly 20 million years ago, Ursavus was much smaller than today's bears, approximately the size of a modern fox or small dog. Yet within this relatively modest animal lay the blueprint for every bear species alive today. Generation after generation, natural selection rewarded individuals capable of surviving harsh winters, traveling long distances, climbing trees, digging for roots, catching fish, scavenging carcasses, and adapting to constantly changing ecosystems. Unlike many predators that specialized in hunting a single type of prey, bears evolved into extraordinary generalists. They learned to eat almost everything: berries, roots, honey, insects, fish, bird eggs, large mammals, even decaying carcasses left behind by wolves or big cats. This flexibility would eventually become one of the greatest survival strategies ever developed by a large mammal. Throughout Earth's history, climates repeatedly shifted between warm and cold periods. Massive glaciers advanced across continents before retreating thousands of years later. Entire ecosystems disappeared, countless species failed to adapt and vanished forever. Yet bears endured. Their bodies changed with the environment. Some evolved thicker layers of insulating fat. Others developed longer claws for climbing towering trees. Some became exceptional swimmers. Others mastered life at extreme altitudes. Perhaps the most dramatic example of adaptation occurred when certain ancient brown bear populations gradually spread northward into increasingly frozen landscapes. Over many thousands of years, these isolated populations evolved white fur, elongated necks, massive paws, and incredible insulation against brutal Arctic temperatures. They eventually became the world's largest land carnivore, the polar bear. Meanwhile, elsewhere across Europe, Asia, and North America, other bear populations continued diversifying into the species we recognize today. The American black bear adapted to dense forests. The Asiatic black bear mastered mountainous woodlands. The spectacled bear evolved among the towering Andes. The sun bear became perfectly suited for tropical rainforests. The sloth bear specialized in feeding on termites and ants, using uniquely elongated lips and powerful suction. Every species followed a different evolutionary path, yet all retained the same fundamental characteristics inherited from their ancient ancestors: remarkable intelligence, incredible strength, exceptional memory, and an almost unmatched ability to solve survival problems. Unlike many animals that rely almost entirely on instinct, bears constantly learn from experience. Young cubs spend years observing their mothers. They memorize seasonal food locations. They learn which rivers contain the richest salmon runs. They remember dangerous territories. They even recognize individual threats over long periods of time. This capacity for learning has played a crucial role in the survival of bears for millions of years. As humans slowly spread across the planet, bears had already survived volcanic eruptions, ice ages, shifting continents, massive droughts, and countless environmental catastrophes. Few large mammals possess such an extraordinary evolutionary legacy. At first glance, a bear appears to be built almost entirely for brute strength. A massive body, towering shoulders, enormous paws, powerful jaws, and muscles capable of moving objects weighing several hundred kilograms. But beneath that intimidating appearance lies one of the most perfectly engineered survival systems ever produced by evolution. Every part of a bear's body serves a purpose. Every muscle, every claw, every tooth, and every sense has been shaped by millions of years of natural selection. Their size alone is astonishing. The smallest living bear, the sun bear, may weigh as little as 30 kilograms. Yet even this relatively small species possesses remarkable climbing ability, powerful forelimbs and razor-sharp claws designed for tearing apart rotting logs and termite nests. At the opposite extreme stands the mighty Kodiak bear, one of the largest land carnivores on Earth. A fully grown male can exceed 700 kilograms, stand nearly 3 meters tall on its hind legs, and possess enough raw strength to overpower animals several times the size of a human. Yet, despite this incredible mass, bears remain surprisingly agile. Many people imagine bears as slow-moving giants. In reality, that couldn't be further from the truth. A grizzly bear can sprint at speeds of up to 56 kilometers per hour, faster than the fastest human ever recorded. And unlike humans, bears can maintain astonishing acceleration even over rough terrain filled with rocks, fallen trees, mud, and steep hillsides. Their secret lies in their skeletal structure. Bears possess an exceptionally flexible spine that allows long, powerful strides while maintaining balance across uneven landscapes. Their shoulder muscles are among the strongest of any terrestrial mammal. Unlike cats or dogs, bears have an enormous muscular hump above their shoulders. This isn't fat, it's pure muscle. These muscles generate tremendous digging power. With only a few movements, a bear can excavate deep dens, uncover buried roots, rip apart rotting logs, or expose ground squirrels hiding beneath frozen soil. Those same muscles also provide incredible force during combat. When two male bears fight, every strike carries immense power. A single swipe from an adult grizzly can break bones, crush a wolf's skull, or send another bear tumbling several meters. Fortunately, these battles rarely end in death. Most conflicts are resolved through displays of size, posture, and vocal intimidation, long before physical violence becomes necessary. Equally impressive are their paws. A bear's front paws are engineering masterpieces. Each contains long, curved claws that vary depending on the species. Brown bears use them primarily for digging. Black bears rely on shorter, curved claws for climbing. Polar bears possess broad paws covered with tiny bumps called papillae, providing grip on slippery ice. These giant paws also distribute weight efficiently. Even massive bears can walk across soft ground, snow, and marshes without sinking as deeply as expected. Beneath those paws are thick cushions that absorb shock during movement. This allows such enormous animals to walk surprisingly quietly through forests. Many hikers never realize a bear was nearby until long after it has disappeared. Then there are the jaws. A bear's bite is not simply powerful, it is incredibly versatile. Unlike highly specialized predators that possess teeth designed only for slicing meat, bears have evolved a combination of sharp canines, crushing molars, and broad grinding teeth. This allows them to consume almost anything they encounter. Fresh berries, hard nuts, fish, grass, tree bark, honey, bird eggs, large mammals, even bones. This omnivorous design has been one of the greatest reasons for their evolutionary success. If one food source disappears, bears simply switch to another. Few large predators possess such flexibility. Their digestive system reflects this adaptability. Although classified within the order Carnivora, many bear species obtain most of their annual calories from plants rather than meat. During summer and autumn, bears may spend over 20 hours a day feeding. Their goal is simple: build enough fat reserves to survive winter. Incredibly, a single bear may consume tens of thousands of calories in one day during peak feeding season. Salmon runs become feeding festivals. Berry fields are harvested with astonishing efficiency. Entire hillsides rich in roots and insects become temporary buffets. Every calorie matters, because winter is always coming. Yet perhaps no part of a bear's anatomy is more extraordinary than its senses. Its eyesight is comparable to that of humans. Its hearing rivals that of many domestic dogs, but its sense of smell enters an entirely different category. Scientists estimate that a bear's nose is thousands of times more sensitive than a human's. A bear can detect food hidden beneath snow, long before humans built cities, before lions became kings of the savanna, before Africa looked the way it does today. The ancestors of elephants were already walking across the earth. Their story doesn't begin in the African grasslands. It begins nearly 60 million years ago, shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs. At that time, the planet was a completely different world. Dense tropical forests covered much of the land. Global temperatures were warmer. Mammals were only beginning to evolve into larger forms. Among these early mammals lived a small creature called Erytherium. It was no larger than a modern fox. Looking at it today, you would never guess it was one of the earliest relatives of the elephant. It had no trunk, no giant tusks, no enormous ears, yet inside its skull and teeth were tiny evolutionary clues that scientists now recognize as the beginning of one of Earth's greatest success stories. Over millions of years, natural selection slowly transformed these primitive mammals. Some species adapted to wetlands, others moved into forests. Some became larger to defend themselves against growing predators. One of the most important ancestors was Merytherium, which lived around 37 million years ago. Unlike today's elephants, it resembled a cross between a tapir and a hippopotamus. It spent much of its life in shallow rivers and swamps. Its nose had already begun extending into a short, muscular upper lip, the first step toward what would eventually become the elephant's remarkable trunk. As millions of years passed, evolution continued its slow work. Generation after generation, bodies grew larger, legs became longer, the skull changed shape, the neck became shorter. Eventually, the nose evolved into one of the most extraordinary organs in the entire animal kingdom, the trunk, a masterpiece of evolution containing nearly 40,000 individual muscles, far more muscles than exist throughout the entire human body. It could lift a tree branch, pick up a single blade of grass, sense smells from several kilometers away, drink gallons of water in seconds, or comfort a frightened calf with incredible gentleness. No other mammal on Earth possesses anything quite like it. At the same time, another remarkable feature evolved: the tusks. Originally, these enlarged front teeth were much smaller, but over millions of years they became longer and stronger. Tusks allowed elephants to dig for underground water during droughts, strip bark from trees, move heavy logs, fight rivals, protect calves, and reshape entire landscapes. Scientists often describe elephants as ecosystem engineers because few animals have such a profound impact on their environment. A single elephant can knock down trees that open sunlight for smaller plants. It creates paths through dense forests used by countless other animals. It digs water holes that become life-saving reservoirs during dry seasons. Its dung spreads seeds across vast distances, helping forests regenerate. In many ways, elephants don't simply live in nature, they help build it. As Earth's climate changed, many ancient elephant relatives disappeared. Some adapted into towering mammoths that roamed frozen tundras. Others evolved into mastodons living among forests. Many species vanished forever, but one lineage continued to thrive in Africa. It survived dramatic climate shifts, ice ages, expanding deserts, and relentless environmental change. That lineage would eventually become the modern African elephant, the largest land animal the world has ever known. Its size was not created overnight. It is the result of over 60 million years of evolution, millions of years of adaptation, Millions of years of survival. Millions of years proving one simple truth. Nature rewards not the strongest, but those that adapt the best. Imagine walking through a forest. The birds are singing. The wind gently moves the leaves. Everything feels peaceful. You look around. Nothing seems unusual. But what if the most dangerous animal in the forest has been watching you for the last 10 minutes, and you have absolutely no idea it's there? This is the true power of a tiger. It doesn't rely on being stronger than every other animal. It relies on something much more terrifying: remaining unseen. Nature spent millions of years perfecting the tiger's camouflage. At first glance, its bright orange fur seems impossible to hide. How could such a colorful animal disappear inside a green forest? The answer lies not in the tiger, but in the eyes of its prey. Most of the animals tigers hunt, such as deer and wild boar, cannot see colors the way humans do. Their vision is limited. To them, the tiger's orange coat blends into the browns, shadows, and filtered sunlight of the forest. What looks obvious to us looks almost invisible to them. Then there are the stripes. People often think the stripes are simply beautiful patterns. In reality, they are one of nature's greatest optical illusions. Every stripe breaks up the tiger's outline. Instead of seeing one large animal, the prey sees broken pieces of shadow, branches, tall grass, tree trunks. The tiger doesn't disappear because it changes color. It disappears because your brain struggles to recognize its shape. Even experienced wildlife photographers sometimes stare directly at a tiger without realizing it. Then suddenly, the tiger moves, and only then do they understand it had been there the entire time. Scientists call this disruptive camouflage. It doesn't make an animal invisible. It makes the brain fail to recognize what it's looking at. But camouflage is only half of the story. A tiger also knows exactly how to move. Every step is placed with extraordinary precision. It avoids dry leaves. It avoids snapping branches. It shifts its weight slowly from one paw to another. Its soft, padded feet absorb sound so effectively that even nearby animals often hear nothing at all. Imagine carrying more than 300 kilograms, yet moving more quietly than a house cat. That is exactly what a tiger can do. Its tail constantly adjusts its balance. Its muscles remain relaxed until the final moment. Its breathing slows. Its heartbeat remains steady. Everything about the tiger is designed to remain unnoticed. And perhaps the most incredible part: a tiger doesn't always attack. Sometimes it watches, sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours. It studies every movement, every sound, every possible escape route. It waits for certainty, because in the wild, a failed attack wastes precious energy. A serious injury can mean death. Unlike humans, tigers cannot visit a hospital. They cannot ask another tiger for food. Every decision carries enormous consequences, so they become masters of patience, masters of timing, masters of silence. And perhaps that's why people rarely see wild tigers. Not because there are so few, but because the tiger almost always sees you first, long before you ever have a chance to see it. But remaining invisible isn't enough. At some point, every tiger must make a decision: wait or attack. And when that moment finally arrives, the forest explodes with one of the most powerful ambushes in the animal kingdom. In the next chapter, we'll witness how a tiger hunts and why a single leap can decide the fate of both predator and prey. For thousands of years, humans have called the lion the king of the jungle. But here's the first surprise: lions don't even live in jungles. Most lions inhabit open grasslands and savannas across Africa. Tigers, on the other hand, rule some of the densest forests, frozen mountains, tropical swamps, and bamboo jungles on Earth. Perhaps the real king has always been hiding in silence. Unlike lions, tigers don't depend on a pride. They don't hunt with brothers or sisters. They don't rely on teamwork. From the moment a young tiger leaves its mother, its survival depends entirely on one thing: itself. Every meal, every battle, every decision, every mistake, no one comes to help. If it fails, it goes hungry. If it's injured, it must recover alone. If another tiger invades its territory, there is no family standing beside it. This lonely life may seem harsh, but over millions of years, it created one of nature's most extraordinary predators. A tiger doesn't simply become strong, it becomes independent, and independence changes everything. Unlike pack hunters that can afford small mistakes, a tiger cannot waste energy. Every movement matters. Every step has a purpose. Every hunt is carefully calculated. This is why patience became one of the tiger's greatest weapons. Sometimes a tiger follows its prey for hours. Sometimes for an entire day. It studies the wind, the terrain, the distance, the behavior of every animal nearby. It doesn't rush, because rushing often means failure. Scientists estimate that most tiger hunts end unsuccessfully. In fact, only about 1 out of every 10 to 20 hunting attempts results in a successful kill. At first, this sounds shocking. How can one of Earth's greatest predators fail so often? The answer lies in the prey. Deer are fast. Wild boars are unpredictable. Monkeys stay high in the trees. Buffaloes fight back. Even one wrong step, one snapped branch, one change in the wind can ruin hours of careful stalking. But the tiger doesn't become frustrated. It simply begins again. Because survival isn't about never failing. It's about refusing to stop. Perhaps that's the first lesson tigers teach us. Strength isn't measured by how many times you win. It's measured by how calmly you recover after you lose. Every failed hunt makes the next one smarter. Every mistake becomes experience. Every challenge sharpens the hunter. But patience alone doesn't explain the tiger's incredible success, because before it even begins to hunt, the tiger has already mastered something almost impossible: the art of becoming invisible. And once you understand how a 300-kilogram predator can disappear into a forest without making a sound, you'll never look at the wilderness the same way again. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the face of a tiger, its piercing eyes, its perfectly symmetrical stripes, its calm expression, its silent confidence. Now ask yourself one question. Why does this animal affect us so deeply? There are animals that are larger, animals that are faster, animals that are stronger in certain ways. The elephant outweighs the tiger many times over. The cheetah runs almost twice as fast. The saltwater crocodile possesses one of the strongest bites on Earth. The blue whale is larger than any creature that has ever lived. So why? When people think of power, do they so often imagine a tiger? The answer begins deep inside the human brain. Long before cities existed, long before written language, long before civilization, our ancestors shared the world with predators. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans weren't always the hunters. Sometimes they were the hunted. Ancient forests were filled with dangers: cave lions, hyenas, leopards, saber-toothed cats, and eventually tigers. Our brains evolved under constant pressure to notice predators before predators noticed us. Scientists call this evolutionary preparedness. It means the human brain learns certain dangers far more quickly than others. Even today, people often detect the shape of a snake or a large cat faster than harmless objects hidden in the same environment. Our ancestors who recognized predators quickly were more likely to survive. Those who didn't often never passed on their genes. In a way, part of your brain is still living in that ancient forest. This may explain why tiger eyes immediately attract our attention, why tiger faces seem unforgettable, why children who have never seen a wild tiger still recognize one almost instantly. The tiger speaks to something ancient inside us, something older than history itself. The perfect balance of beauty and danger. Most predators inspire fear. Many beautiful animals inspire admiration. The tiger does something almost impossible. It inspires both at exactly the same time. Look carefully at its appearance. Its orange coat almost glows beneath sunlight. Its black stripes create natural artwork unlike any other mammal. Its white markings around the eyes make its face expressive. Every movement appears smooth, almost effortless. Yet behind that beauty exists incredible power. A single swipe from a tiger's paw can break bones. Its canine teeth can exceed 7 centimeters in length. Its shoulder muscles generate explosive force. Its flexible spine allows astonishing leaps. Beauty and destruction existing inside the same animal. Perhaps this contradiction fascinates us more than anything else. Humans have always been drawn toward things that combine opposites: gentleness and danger, silence and violence, elegance and raw power. The tiger embodies all of them. Why every tiger is truly unique. Now here's something many people don't know. No two tigers on Earth have exactly the same stripe pattern, not one. Scientists identify wild tigers the same way police identify humans, not by names, not by collars, but by their stripes. Each stripe pattern is completely unique. Even identical twins among humans share fingerprints that differ slightly. Tigers possess their own natural fingerprint across their entire bodies. Researchers place hidden camera traps throughout forests. Months later, thousands of photographs are analyzed. Software compares stripe patterns. One tiger photographed today may be recognized years later, hundreds of kilometers away. Imagine carrying your identity across your entire body. Impossible to lose, impossible to copy. Nature invented this system millions of years before humans invented passports. Even more remarkable, the stripes don't exist only in the fur. If a tiger were shaved, its skin would still show the same striped pattern. The pigment extends beneath the fur itself. This means the tiger's identity isn't just painted on the outside, it's literally part of its skin. The eyes that never stop watching. Many people say looking into a tiger's eyes feels different. Scientists cannot fully measure this feeling, but they do understand part of the reason. Tigers possess exceptional binocular vision. Their forward-facing eyes allow precise depth perception. This is essential for judging the exact distance before launching an ambush. Their night vision is estimated to be several times better than ours. A reflective layer behind the retina, called the tapetum lucidum, acts like a natural mirror. It reflects light back through the eye, giving the retina a second opportunity to capture every available photon. This is why tiger eyes seem to glow when illuminated in darkness. To us, it appears mysterious. To the tiger, it's simply another tool for survival. During daylight, long before scientists measured a giraffe's heartbeat, before satellites tracked their movements, before cameras revealed their hidden lives, people tried to explain giraffes using something else: imagination. And perhaps no animal has inspired stranger stories, because when ancient travelers first described giraffes, many people simply refused to believe them. Imagine living in Europe 2,000 years ago. One day, a merchant arrives from Africa. He tells you he has seen an animal taller than any horse, with legs like towers, a neck longer than a man is tall, a spotted body, small horns, a tongue nearly half a meter long, and eyes so high above the ground they seem to watch the entire world. Would you believe him? Most people didn't. They assumed such a creature could not possibly exist. Some believed travelers were exaggerating. Others thought the stories were invented to entertain wealthy audiences. And a few imagined something even stranger. They believed the giraffe wasn't a real species at all. It was a hybrid, a mysterious cross between different animals. The ancient Romans even gave it A remarkable name, camelopardalis, a combination of two familiar creatures, the camel, because of its long neck and unusual body, the leopard, because of its spotted coat. To Roman eye, the giraffe wasn't something entirely new. It was a camel, painted like a leopard. The name survived for centuries. Even today, the scientific name of the giraffe still reflects that ancient misunderstanding. Sometimes, history leaves clues hidden inside language itself. But myths did not stop there. Across different African cultures, giraffes became symbols of entirely different ideas. Some communities believed they represented wisdom. Others believed they carried messages between earth and the sky. Their extraordinary height made them seem closer to the heavens than any other animal. To stand above everyone else was to see what others could not. Some legends claim giraffes could predict danger before it arrived, not because they possessed magical powers, but because they always seemed to notice distant threats first. From their towering perspective, perhaps they did. In other traditions, their calm behavior became a symbol of patience. Unlike predators that rushed into action, the giraffe appeared thoughtful, careful, deliberate, moving only when necessary. Whether these stories were true hardly mattered. They reflected something deeper, human admiration. Even today, modern myths continue to spread. Spend just a few minutes online, and you'll find astonishing claims. Giraffes never sleep. They have two hearts. They can survive without drinking water for months. They are completely silent. They never fight. Each statement contains a fragment of truth, wrapped inside a much larger misunderstanding. Yes, they sleep very little, but they do sleep. Yes, they rarely drink compared to many animals, but they still need water. Yes, they are quiet, but scientists have discovered subtle forms of communication. And no, they absolutely do fight, sometimes with astonishing violence. Perhaps this reveals something fascinating about humans. When we don't fully understand an animal, we don't like leaving questions unanswered, so we create stories. Sometimes those stories become legends. Sometimes they become misinformation, and sometimes they survive longer than the truth itself. The giraffe reminds us that mystery has always accompanied knowledge. Before science, there were myths. Before evidence, there were beliefs. And even today, the line between the two is often thinner than we realize. Yet perhaps the strangest myth of all is the one many people still believe without ever saying it out loud. The giraffes are simple animals, gentle, quiet, predictable. As though there is nothing left to discover, nothing could be further from the truth. Because every year, researchers uncover another piece of a puzzle that is still far from complete. The tallest animal on Earth may also be one of the least understood, and perhaps that is exactly why it continues to capture our imagination. Not because we know everything about it, but because, even after centuries of observation, it still refuses to give away all of its secrets. After centuries of observation, thousands of scientific papers, millions of photographs, and countless hours spent watching giraffes in the wild, there is still one uncomfortable truth. We don't fully understand them. That may sound surprising, after all. How can an animal this large remain mysterious? Surely we know everything important by now: its anatomy, its behavior, its evolution, its daily life. But science doesn't work that way. Every answer creates new questions, and giraffes continue asking some of biology's most difficult ones. Take something as simple as their neck. Yes, we know how it works. We know how blood reaches the brain. We know the muscles supporting it. We know the bones inside it. But one question still refuses to disappear. Why did it become exactly this long? Not slightly shorter, not slightly longer. Exactly this length. Evolution never announces when it is finished. Some scientists argue that modern giraffes may already represent the perfect balance between height and survival. Others wonder, could they have become even taller if environmental conditions had been different? No one can know, because evolution cannot be replayed. Then there is another mystery: intelligence. How intelligent is a giraffe, really? Unlike chimpanzees, they don't build tools. Unlike dolphins, they don't perform obvious problem-solving behaviors in front of us. Unlike elephants, they don't display dramatic emotional rituals that are easy for humans to recognize. But perhaps we've been asking the wrong questions. Human beings often judge intelligence by similarity. If another species behaves like us, we call it intelligent. If it solves problems differently, we sometimes overlook its abilities. A giraffe's world is completely different from ours. Its challenges are different. Its priorities are different. Its survival depends on noticing tiny movements across enormous distances, remembering seasonal feeding areas, recognizing individuals, avoiding conflict whenever possible. Maybe intelligence should be measured by success within an animal's own environment, not by how closely it resembles humans. Researchers are beginning to explore these questions with growing curiosity. Some studies suggest giraffes remember social relationships far longer than once believed. Others indicate they make surprisingly complex decisions while moving across landscapes. There is evidence that experienced adults influence the behavior of younger individuals. Knowledge, it seems, can travel across generations. Then comes perhaps the greatest mystery of all, consciousness. What does the world actually look like from 6 meters above the ground? What does a giraffe notice that we never could? How does it experience silence? How does it perceive danger? What memories remain after years of wandering the same savanna? No camera can answer these questions, no microscope, no satellite. Science can measure organs, it can track movement, it can analyze DNA. But the inner experience of another living creature remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in existence. Perhaps it always will. There is a quiet humility in realizing this. Humans have walked on the moon, sent spacecraft beyond the solar system, mapped the human genome, built machines capable of incredible calculations. Yet we still cannot fully explain the mind of an animal standing peacefully beneath an acacia tree. Maybe that isn't a failure. Maybe it is a reminder. Nature is not a puzzle that exists solely to be solved. Some mysteries are valuable precisely because they continue inspiring curiosity. Every unanswered question pushes science forward. Every discovery reminds us how much remains hidden. And perhaps that is the greatest gift the giraffe offers humanity, not just wonder, but perspective. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know. Because in the end, the giraffe is more than the tallest animal on Earth. It is living proof that even the most familiar creatures can still hold extraordinary secrets. And maybe the greatest discovery about giraffes hasn't been made yet. As the sun disappears beyond the horizon and darkness slowly spreads across forests, mountains, and open fields, the world begins to change. Most creatures retreat into hiding. The sounds of the day gradually fade away. The wind becomes colder. Shadows grow longer. For many animals, night is a time of danger, but for one hunter, it is the perfect moment to awaken. The owl. For thousands of years, human beings have feared, admired, and misunderstood these extraordinary creatures. Some civilizations believed that owls carried messages from the spirit world. Others considered them symbols of wisdom. Many feared them as creatures of darkness. Perhaps that is because owls seem almost unnatural. Their enormous eyes stare into the darkness. Their heads rotate with astonishing flexibility. Their movements are almost completely silent, and their appearance alone is enough to make many creatures freeze in fear. But what makes an owl such an extraordinary hunter? The answer begins with something that most people rarely think about: sound. Human beings depend heavily upon sight. Owls rely on something entirely different. Imagine standing in complete darkness. You cannot see anything around you. There is no moonlight, no stars, no movement. Suddenly, you hear the faint sound of a leaf moving across the ground. Now imagine knowing exactly where that sound came from. Not approximately, exactly. That is the reality of an owl. Its hearing is so precise that it can locate prey hidden beneath leaves, snow, or thick vegetation. Its ears are positioned at slightly different heights on its head, allowing it to determine the exact direction of even the faintest sound. To an owl, darkness is not a limitation, it is an advantage. Its eyes are equally extraordinary. Unlike human eyes, an owl's eyes are designed to collect enormous amounts of light. This allows the bird to see details that would remain invisible to most creatures. Every shadow matters. Every movement matters. Every sound matters. Then there are the feathers. At first glance, they appear ordinary, but nature has given them an astonishing design. The edges of an owl's feathers break up the flow of air and dramatically reduce the sound produced during flight. The result is almost unbelievable. An owl can fly so quietly that its prey may never realize that danger is approaching. No warning, no escape, only silence. Even the bird's hunting strategy reflects its extraordinary patience. Unlike falcons, which rely upon speed, owls often remain perfectly still for long periods of time. They wait, they listen, they observe, and then, when the opportunity arrives, they strike with remarkable precision. It is a strategy that has allowed owls to survive for millions of years. But life in the darkness is not always easy. The night is filled with challenges. Temperatures fall rapidly. Food becomes difficult to find. Competition becomes fierce. Larger predators wander through the shadows. Storms transform familiar landscapes into dangerous environments. And yet, owls continue to thrive. Some species have adapted to deserts. Others live in dense forests. Some inhabit icy regions where survival itself seems impossible. Others have learned to live alongside human beings. Perhaps that is why owls continue to fascinate us. They remind us that nature often rewards patience, more than strength and intelligence, more than aggression. Yet, as extraordinary as owls may be, another creature has mastered something even more remarkable. Unlike birds, it has no feathers. Unlike eagles and falcons, it does not depend upon sharp eyesight. Unlike owls, it does not rely entirely upon hearing. Instead, it possesses an ability so extraordinary that it almost seems impossible. An ability that allows it to create a map of the world using nothing but sound. The creature that rules the darkness in a way no other animal can. The bat. Long before the first cities were built, long before human beings learned to write, and long before the first ships crossed the oceans, millions of strange creatures were already ruling the night sky. Among them was an animal unlike any other, an animal that seemed to break the rules of nature itself. The bat. Even today, bats remain among the most misunderstood creatures on Earth. Stories about monsters, vampires, curses, and dark magic have surrounded them for centuries. In countless legends, bats have been portrayed as symbols of fear and mystery. But the truth is far more astonishing than the myths. Bats are not monsters. They are masters of survival. And in many ways, they are among the most extraordinary animals ever to exist. Unlike eagles, falcons, or owls, bats are not birds. They are mammals. They feed their young with milk. They form families. They communicate with one another. Some even create lifelong social bonds. Yet millions of years ago, their ancestors achieved something that almost no other mammals could accomplish. They learned how to fly. At first glance, a bat's wings may appear similar to those of birds, but a closer look reveals a completely different design. Instead of feathers, bats possess thin layers of skin stretched across elongated fingers. In other words, a bat's wings are much closer to human hands than to the wings of an eagle. This unique structure gives them astonishing control over every movement. They can turn instantly, change direction within a fraction of a second, slow down, accelerate, dive, climb, twist through narrow spaces. It is a level of agility that few other flying creatures can match. But the greatest secret of the bat lies elsewhere. It lies in darkness. Imagine entering a cave so deep that absolutely no light can penetrate its walls. You cannot see the ground beneath your feet. You cannot see the ceiling above your head. You cannot even see your own hands. To most creatures, such an environment would be terrifying. To a bat, it feels like home. The reason is simple. Bats have developed one of the most extraordinary abilities in the history of life: echolocation. As a bat flies, it constantly produces sounds that are far too high for human ears to hear. These sounds travel through the air and bounce off everything around them: trees, rocks, insects, water, other animals. The echoes return to the bat, carrying astonishing amounts of information: distance, shape, direction, movement. Within fractions of a second, the animal transforms these echoes into a detailed map of the world around it. In a sense, bats do not simply hear the world, they almost see it through sound. Even more astonishingly, they can distinguish one tiny insect from hundreds of others while flying at incredible speeds through complete darkness. Scientists have spent decades studying this remarkable ability. Engineers have even used these discoveries to improve submarines, navigation systems, and advanced technologies. Once again, nature had already solved problems that human beings would not understand until millions of years later. But bats possess another secret. Many species live together in enormous colonies. Some caves contain millions of individuals. Imagine the sound. Imagine the movement. Imagine millions of wings beating simultaneously in the darkness. And yet, somehow, these creatures continue to communicate, cooperate, and survive together. This is one of the greatest wonders of the natural world. But despite all their extraordinary adaptations, bats face dangers of their own. Snakes wait near cave entrances. Owls patrol the darkness. Foxes and wild cats search the ground below. Storms arrive without warning. Food supplies disappear. Survival is never guaranteed, and perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within the sky above us. No matter how powerful a creature becomes, nature always presents another challenge. Strength alone is never enough. Speed is not enough. Vision is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Every creature must constantly adapt. Every creature must constantly learn. Every creature must constantly fight. Yet there are still beings that spend so much time in the air that they seem almost to belong to another world altogether. Creatures that cross entire oceans. Creatures that ride storms instead of avoiding them. Creatures that can travel farther than almost any other animal on Earth. And among them, one stands above the rest: the albatross. A few questions before we continue. But now, let me ask you something. If a leopard were standing only a few meters away from you, would you even notice it? Would you hear the sound of its footsteps? Would you see its eyes shining through the darkness? Or would you continue walking, completely unaware that one of the world's greatest hunters was watching you? And what about patience? Could you remain completely still for hours, waiting for the perfect opportunity? Could you survive alone, relying only on your instincts? Could you adapt to burning deserts, freezing mountains, dense forests, and endless grasslands? The leopard can. But perhaps the most fascinating question is this: why has evolution created such an extraordinary creature? Why did nature give the leopard incredible eyesight, immense strength, and the ability to disappear almost completely into its surroundings? And here is another mystery. Why do leopards prefer to live alone? Lions depend on their pride. Wolves depend on their pack. Many animals depend on numbers. Yet the leopard trusts only itself. What does this tell us? Is independence its greatest strength? Or is solitude the price that every great hunter must pay? Then there is one final question. If the leopard is such a perfect predator, why is it so difficult for scientists to understand it completely? Even today, researchers continue to discover new and surprising facts about these magnificent animals. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not how powerful leopards are. Perhaps the real mystery is how little we truly know about them. And as we continue our journey, you may begin to realize that the leopard is much more than a hunter. It is a symbol of patience, a symbol of intelligence, a symbol of silence, and above all, a symbol of survival itself. The leopard never stops learning, adapting, and waiting, because in the wild, patience is often more powerful than strength itself. For all their strength, speed, and intelligence, Leopards begin their lives as some of the most vulnerable creatures in the wild. A newborn cub cannot run, it cannot hunt, it cannot defend itself. For the first few weeks of its life, it depends entirely on its mother. And that is when the real story begins. Unlike lions, leopard mothers raise their cubs completely alone. There is no pride to protect them. There is no group to help them find food. Every responsibility belongs to a single animal. The mother carefully chooses a hidden place among rocks, thick bushes, or hollow trees. She knows that danger is everywhere. Lions, hyenas, large snakes, even other leopards. Each one could threaten the survival of her cubs. For this reason, she constantly moves them from one hiding place to another. Every journey is dangerous, but staying in the same place for too long can be even more dangerous. Little by little, the cubs begin to grow. Their eyes open, their muscles become stronger. Their curiosity begins to take control. They climb over rocks, they chase insects, they observe every movement their mother makes. And with every passing day, they learn an important lesson. Survival is not a gift, it is a skill. The young cubs discover how to move silently. They learn how to recognize danger. They learn when to attack and when to retreat. Perhaps the most important lesson of all is patience. The mother never explains anything with words. Instead, she teaches through actions. A missed opportunity, a successful hunt, a narrow escape. Each experience becomes another step toward adulthood. But nature is not kind. Many cubs never reach maturity. The wild is full of dangers, and only the strongest, smartest, and most adaptable individuals survive. Yet those that do survive eventually become exactly what their mothers once were. Silent shadows moving through the darkness. Invisible hunters watching the world with patient eyes. And somewhere, hidden among the trees, the cycle begins again. Life in the wild is not only about hunting, it is also about defending what you have already earned. Every meal is valuable. Every mistake can be fatal, and for a leopard, danger can come from almost any direction. At first, this might seem surprising. After all, leopards are powerful, intelligent, and incredibly agile animals. But the African wilderness is filled with predators that are just as determined to survive. Lions often steal food from leopards. Hyenas constantly search for opportunities to take an easy meal. Wild dogs attack in groups and can force even large predators to retreat. Because of this, leopards have developed one of the most remarkable survival strategies in the animal kingdom. They take their prey into the trees. Imagine dragging a heavy object up the side of a building with nothing but your arms. That is essentially what a leopard does. With astonishing strength, it lifts animals that sometimes weigh almost as much as it does. Then it climbs high above the ground and waits patiently. From there, the leopard can eat in relative safety while many of its rivals remain below. Yet even the trees cannot guarantee complete protection. A hungry lion may wait beneath the branches. A determined group of hyenas may refuse to leave. Every meal becomes a battle of patience. And this raises another fascinating question. Why do leopards continue to survive in places where so many other predators struggle? The answer lies in their extraordinary ability to adapt. Leopards can live in hot deserts, dense forests, rocky mountains, and vast grasslands. They can hunt during the day. They can hunt at night. They can disappear into landscapes where almost nothing else can hide. This flexibility has allowed them to survive for thousands of years. But among all the mysteries surrounding these incredible animals, perhaps one question stands above the rest. What happens when the leopard itself turns completely black? That is the mystery we are about to explore next. The leopard never stops learning, adapting, and waiting, because in the wild, patience is often more powerful than strength itself. And that's the incredible world of the animals living on our planet today. They remind us how beautiful, powerful, and mysterious nature truly is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.